This is a really nice vantage point. So I think people should just kind of look around and take in the surroundings. One thing to notice is that this scenery that you're seeing right now is very, very accurate. People from the team actually went down to Peru, went down to South America to get this look. We wanted to make something that was a little bit different from Metal Gear Solid 3. We wanted to have a jungle setting, a forest setting, but not have it be exactly like Metal Gear Solid 3. So, Shinkawa-san and Kimura-san, the lead level artist, went and looked through a bunch of photos and tried to find what location they wanted to use. And South America kind of stood out for its kind of unique landscape with these rocky mountains and kind of sparse vegetation, I guess you could say. It's still a forest and still jungle, but it's a completely different feel from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, it's not as much as jungly, with all these. The color settings is different. You have the dirt color, you have the greens and moss greens and things like that. But there's one thing that's really standing out in this, especially when you look to the right, that there's a... Ken, you want to explain about this?
Oh, the sign?
Yeah, the sign.
Right next to the tower, there is one sign. There's a PMC sign.
The white billboard, right?
Yeah, white billboard.
White and red?
Red, top and bottom, red lines, and that's a PMC sign.
And, it does kind of stand out, and that's intentional also, is, we wanted the player to kind of have this feeling of paranoia while they're in the jungle. No matter where they go, PMC is always there, and they're in control of the area. So like in the Middle East where you see PMC flyers on the walls, we wanted to do something similar in South America. So we went ahead and put these giant billboards in here just to kind of raise the level of paranoia.
Yeah, well, who in the world would kind of see this billboard, right? In the middle of a battlefield.
Well, it's for the people who are fighting, right?
Yeah, well, but...
Some soldier might gonna, change their mind and join a PMC.
Exactly.
I see. It's really odd. Once you notice it, when I played the game for the first time, I didn't really notice it at first sight. It was more maybe subliminal, but when you actually see it from the location of the motor, it really stands out. It's really strange because you don't see any advertisement usually in battlefields.
Especially in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah, if it's an industrial area, that's a different story, but it's really funny, come to think of it.
Right.
Any interesting stories, Ken, Sean, about this area and this part?
Well, one interesting story about the mortar itself is, if you press triangle to go ahead and use the mortar, when you're moving it around, you hear kind of this clicking sound that it makes when you rotate it.
Yeah.
And that was in there from the beginning, and we wanted to do that because the mortar actually makes that sound when you rotate it, so we wanted to keep that. But something that got added later on in the development process was the fact that when Snake gets really tired, he starts swaying around, swaying, and he becomes really unstable. And, at the end, we kind of put it in there where whenever he's using any weapon, including the mortar, he'll be weak and unable to hold himself still. And so what happens is he's kind of like, swaying around on this mortar, and the thing is just constantly clicking. Just click, 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 click.
So annoying.
Yeah, it was very annoying. But the problem was, because it was added late in the development process and nobody really bothered to check this mortar, and it was too late for us to fix it. But luckily, I guess you could say it's luck, the game came back for another reason, and that gave us another chance to go ahead and sneak this fix in. So we went ahead and did that, and now, we got rid of that annoying click, even if Snake is tired. Yes, very, very, very lucky.
Oh, so the people will never kind of actually see what was the original.
Right, they'll never see that annoying click.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so next let's move on down to the power station itself. So to your right, you'll see this fence and a slope leading down.
Okay.
So let's just follow this slope, sneak along this fence, and head down to the power station. You'll see some lumber piled up at the bottom. So let's take cover behind the pile of lumber to your right.
Okay, so we're going to sneak into the power station from the right side.
Yeah, so if you look at the power station, it should be right ahead of you. There's a truck parked in front of it, and there's two ways to get in. You'll see one entrance in this brick wall here, directly in front of you. Then behind the truck, there's a gate that's open, and you can also get in through that gate.
Which is easier? Are we going to go through the gate?
So yeah, let's head through the gate. That's a little bit easier, so be very careful.
Not to get spotted.
Don't get spotted. And just kind of run over to behind this truck, and take cover. Be careful.
Careful.
Yeah, there are guys on the other side of this fence also, so duck down, get your octocamo working, and take these guys out before you move forward, or you will be spotted.
Well, if you get spotted, let's say you turn this off and take them out, and then come back.
Yeah, exactly. You know, right now we're in the middle of a war zone, so I'm sure a lot of people are having to fight their way through this, so don't hesitate to take your iPod off. Just come back.
Okay,
so
we'll go through the gate, and then
there's a staircase
to this
right on the other side of the gate,
Yeah.
kind of to your left. So head up that staircase and enter the power station through this door on the north side of the building. Okay, you'll see a fan near the door, so you know you're in the right spot. And go ahead and head through the door directly ahead of you, and that leads into another room kind of in the southern half of the building.
Yeah.
And in this room you'll see the generators.
Yeah,
Generators on the right, and then at the far end of the room you'll see a window, and to the left of that is a board that controls the generators.
Yeah.
And what you want to do is blow this up to disable the power plant. And you know, there's actually two ways to destroy this. You can blow it up yourself by using explosives, or if you just kind of sit around and wait for a little while. You know, once you get into this building, you know, the rebels will kind of fight their way in also, and they may come in and go ahead and blow it up on their own.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because when I played for the first time, you know, there were so many enemies around here, so I didn't notice that I had to blow this up. But it kind of shut down automatically, so I thought it was kind of an event.
Well, it happens either way. So you can blow it up yourself, or you can wait for the rebels to bust in and blow it up for you.
Does it eventually, the rebels will blow it up if you don't do it?
It depends, right?
It depends, right? If you manage to fight your way into the power station, then you kind of open the way for the rebels to follow you, and then they'll come in and blow it up. If you just sit outside the power station, you know, it won't move forward. Basically, it's a stalemate with, you know, the PMC fighting the rebels, and nobody really gets the advantage until Snake kind of pierces through the PMC defense and gets into the power station.
I see.
Then the rebels can come in and blow this up.
So what's the advantage of shutting down this power station?
Well, one thing is, as I'm sure most people have noticed by now, once the generators stop, the war zone kind of settles down. And, you know, basically it means victory for the rebels, and the PMCs have pretty much pulled out of the area at that point. You can tell that the power's off, because if you look around, you see those fans, the circulation fans that were turning earlier in the room that we came through, are now stopped. And the generator will no longer be humming, so you know that you've accomplished your mission, and the rebels have succeeded in shutting down the power plant.